All right. Here is Battle Line Network reporting live. I hit the start live button. Oh, wait. I wonder. No, the latency should be fine. Let's see if it's running. Does, let me see. Okay. It's working. It's working. So we're we're reporting live here on the podcast. We thought this would be a good idea. Get audience feedback in real time and then ask questions and have more conversation from there. I'm just going to quickly post this link in my Discord. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go through and introduce everyone quickly. Actually, wait, I need to ping this first. And on my phone, or else it'll look weird on Discord. But let's go through and introduce everyone. So, first, we got Killer. Thank, thank you. Next, we got Shade. We got Fatty. Fatty, you here? Oh, yeah. Ah, very important man indeed. We got Chris Moto. And we got Scrapper. Yeah, Scraper. I don't know. Scrapper. Cool, thank you. Let me finish this quick ping and then we will get going. Cool. All right, it's pinged out. So, Eagle, everyone is really quiet, but you okay? I will up everyone's volume. Thank you, Huncho. Greatly appreciated. Um, I don't know, maybe. Well, we'll see. Um, so yeah, let's start going through all of the patch notes. We're gonna kind of just start there, and if conversation goes off from there, we'll do that. If anyone has any comments or questions, put in the chat, and we'll get to those at some point. So let's see. So first part of the update, crowdfunding backer names were added to the credits section of War of Rights. Finally, I have you guys gone through the credits section at all since they put it in? There's like over there's like over 8,000 names in there. Yeah. Oh, did, did they not send like an email or something? Or you like when you did it or that? Uh,
So bad.
okay. I think I fixed it now. I think is it fixed now? So what I happened right is I have the different audio things split up for recording, but when streaming, it screws it up. So can you be heard
Uh,
now?
I don't know. Test.
Recording, but when
I
stream,
just gotta wait a minute. It's a
yeah.
bit behind.
Can you be heard
Uh,
now?
I don't know. Test.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Okay. Cool.
fine. It's fine now.
All right. So we'll quickly restart then, and then go through that again. So I apologize to everyone. Thank you. So first we got Killer.
Oh, we're
And we're
doing
gonna
that
we're
again.
gonna do the introductions
Uh,
again because that's my fault.
yo, yo, best brick killer ANV knows. God save the king.
We got Shade.
Hey guys, Major General Shade of the 24th Georgia.
Fatty is Fatty back? Appears to
He's
be a
still dead.
no.
No.
Rest
Still
in
taking
peace.
care of the family.
Indeed. We got Chris Moto.
Hey guys, my name's Chris. I'm an Orphans Brigade, 4th Kentucky, best Kentucky regiment.
And then we got Scraper.
Yeah, Colonel Scrapper, leader of 1st LAB, part of Archer's Brigade.
Cool. So you could probably hear me talking about. We were talking about the crowdfunding backer name. There's like 8,000 plus names on it. It's crazy.
I mean, to be fair, some people waited like what,
I-
7 years, 6, 7 years to get their name put on there.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took them this long to put the names on there.
Yeah,
Like
considering.
it's just a list of names, but regardless, it's finally here.
I mean,
Yeah.
have you ever went through like the backer awards and went through like all the different awards that people get or were meant to get? Have you ever looked through them all?
I've looked.
Like some
but-
of them are crazy. Like there's a Stonewall Jackson character model you're meant to get, and all that. And no, but I don't think we're ever gonna see Stonewall Jackson.
When the game's finished in 10 years.
It
Fatty, are you
might get
back?
Stonewall-
I'm finally back. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. Introduce yourself.
I'm First Lieutenant Faticus of the 4th New Jersey. I am the Company A Executive Officer.
Cool.
Bizarre.
Um,
Hell yeah.
you have any thoughts on the crowdfunding names now being in the credits?
Good for them. It only took 4 years.
Yeah, really.
They
Well,
take their
longer than
time with
that.
some things.
Hey, where's horses?
That's never coming. Don't get confident.
I mean, we saw horses like what was it? Like over a year ago now. They showed them briefly in a skirmish match and then a drill camp, but we haven't seen him
Yeah.
since.
But then
Who would've
someone
thought-
dropped a horse and set
Who
them
would have
back.
thought Battle Cry of Freedom would have beat War Rights to Horses?
Oh, I could have told you that.
I would have never guessed it.
Yeah, but Battle Cry Freedom horses are like 2D pieces of paper running across the screen. It's not that.
Yeah,
much.
and it's already dead again. I mean, the horse update did nothing for him.
Yeah, it's completely dead. I played it the
Yeah.
other day. Literally
But-
3 people
But it's
on.
gonna kill War of Rights. Don't worry. Give it time.
That's what I heard.
Let them
yeah.
cook.
The thing about the horses, all the developers for Battlecry Freedom, they're from Napoleonic Wars, Mountain Blade, a good chunk of
Yeah.
them. So they already had these files for the horses and whatnot.
Why
That
they
makes a lot
cheated.
of sense. When they were showing the horses last year, what was it? I remember they would walk the horse up from a far distance away and then run the horse off away, and I was spectating when they were doing that, and the horse just kind of like glitched and disappeared at the end. I wish I would have recorded it, but it was just very funny.
The last update that I saw about the horses was from Trusty. He said the guy who's doing the animations, it was working on the knockdown animations for when you get knocked off the horse. So I assume that's for like artillery or if you get fucking bayoneted or something.
Do you
Or
think
your horse gets
horses-
shot.
Do you think horses are gonna knock over like people, like what
Probably.
artillery
It
can now?
should if it's running at full speed. If he's running and it hits a line, then yeah.
See,
Is one rifle shot going to kill a horse?
I don't know.
I think it has to be like 2. I don't think it's gonna be 1. I think 1 is a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
They
I-
should test it.
I feel
In
bad
real
for
life.
that animator though. Test it in real life.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We thinking Battlefield 1 horses, just eat artillery shells and shit.
Go with
I will
that.
say there was
Eat a
no better
cannon
feeling.
shot.
No
Yeah.
better feeling than running around with a lance in that game.
See, like, I was having this conversation yesterday, right? Which isn't really about the newest update. It's more like future updates. Like, say, like, a load of people keep talking about 400-player servers, but like, I don't see how, the only thing 400-player servers is gonna do is allow more people to play, but it's not really gonna help at all, especially with artillery and cavalry, because they're not gonna add any more cannons. Cav is still gonna be like limited. So instead of now having like the 20 slots of like cavalry that there is, you then have to try and divide that between like 9 different regiments that we're mustering into a 400-player server. Same with artillery. It's like there's 1 artillery officer on the map, but then there's gonna be like 6 different artillery regiments, and then artilleries are gonna be limited to like one regiment per cannon because we're trying to squash so many regiments into a 400-player server, and they're
I
not
think
adding
that's
ones.
Well, I think that's why they're pushing conquest and contention so hard, is because it can fit that. Whereas skirmish, that would just be a cluster. Can you imagine a
would.
400-man server on like downtown
It would
That'd
be
be
Washington
fun.
Street?
Oh,
That'd be funny.
jeez.
That would
Imagine
be
the
funny.
imagine the comms on that. God Almighty!
Beautiful.
I think when they do roll out horses eventually, I think it'll probably be for officers only. And I don't think they would actually give like the Sharps company, or not the Sharps company, the Cav company's horses.
I think
Well,
they'll
that could be
give
good.
cannons cav first. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see that you can actually push your cannons and caissons and hook them up, kind of like Battlecry Freedom. That would be very cool to see. But I think officers only for the time being when they do finally come out.
So
You think-
limber and unlimber.
Do you
Yeah,
think
it's been a
even if
4-year update in the making.
even if they bring it out for like artillery first, do you think I could still just steal one of their horses?
That
That's a
would be
good
cool if
question.
you could just shoot the officer off and fucking
Yeah,
yoink his
just-
horse.
You drag the artillery guy off and steal his horse.
Thank you, King of Common. Thank you. Anyone
I
want to
see
join
that.
the first LAV? Let's get it.
Yeah. Okay. So
That's the first super chat I've seen.
we should
Wow.
that whole thing that was a complete joke.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, so the last podcast that they did, Zoo, I guess Zoo caught one of my guys spawn recruiting.
Oh,
And,
is that what the? Oh, okay.
yes, that's why he said first LAB. And so what ended up happening was Orphans Brigade and 4th New Jersey and 1st Mass, 5th Alabama, and 1st LAB just kind of blew up the comments, want to join the 1st LAB.
Yeah, we did do
I
that.
wondered what all that was. It was kind of scary. It was good though. I wasn't getting insulted in the comments for once after a podcast.
No. We don't do things like that.
I
That's-
want to apologize to the 19 viewers if I've offended anybody in previous weeks.
Dude, Killer, you're literally commenting in the previous videos. I apologize to no one. It's like on the tier list video, you're like, I apologize to no one.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair
hey,
enough.
Hey, we sound
Hey.
like stand up guys. I think is what he's trying to say.
yeah, that tier list video made you about $8. So you know what I mean?
I think you're
Block out
overestimating it. No,
Apologizing shows weakness.
Exactly.
Never apologize.
Can you imagine if people search War of Rights in the browser now, and instead of getting like a pixelated Apollo video, you get a War of Rights Battleline Network tier list? That would
They're the greatest type of content.
that would
right
make
there.
so many people mad. It really would.
They
No.
really would.
Anyway, back to the
Killer,
recent
you've
update,
offended
guys.
Someone. You've offended.
Oh, who have I offended now?
You offended Buzz. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
He
Buzz.
doesn't. But next thing in the update was the join button in the main menu. I think the sole purpose of this button was to hide the fact that there's only one public server that's popular.
Facts.
For sure.
Absolutely
That's
facts.
exactly why. Yeah.
Absolutely facts.
My thing on that though is like, it is I believe it or not, I fucking hate it. Like I really do not like it at all. I think, it's more unique and, more like savvy to like, actually go into the server list and see, what is there and what you can do. I mean, if you're a new person and you just bought the game and you just load into a War of Rights pub match, you'd have no idea what you're going to do. Better yet, you could just go to a drill camp through the server browser and, go in there and actually, mess around with the keys and actually learn something.
But who
Zach,
starts off with a drill camp? I know I didn't. I just ran myself straight into a pub.
So you actually, weird enough, I'll say, I actually started off at the drill camp because, like I said, I'm older. So me getting used to I came from console, Xbox, so I was getting used to the computer, and that's how I ended up joining the 4th New Jersey. It was just, and that's what I kind of realized about our regiment is like a lot of our recruits, they come onto that drill server. We don't really have to go out and get people. They just kind of join us. And with the join us button, it doesn't bother me because I think most of your veteran return players already skip. I know I skip the button. Even when I go play pubs, I naturally skip that button, even though it's more convenient just because of the way I've been doing it for years. And I feel like, it will, maybe someone new to the game would click that first. Obviously, I would if I just bought the game. And I think it would be good. I think it would be good and bad because, like I said, with the restrictions they added, it should make it to where, people that should be in charge are in charge. But I still think it's it's going to be really confusing for some of the new players coming out because, like I said, this game took me, sadly enough, like 2-3 weeks to figure it out to its fullest.
I tried using the join game button, and it put me in like the second most populated skirmish server, which had one other person in it, and I was so confused. It was just me and some random first Minnesota guy from TNA, even though the top server was only like 250. It just didn't want me in there, apparently. It was trying to block me out.
That's weird, because
Maybe you were too good for the server.
honestly,
Well, I wonder if they also do it by location. You know, there's another question I thought about. You know, is it a location? If I click join us at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, am I going into an American server that's populated? Or are they putting me in the European servers? Which I don't mind. I've good internet.
based on the patch notes, it says you joined the most populated server with open slots, locked servers, and drill cam mode excluded.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why that would happen.
I think they should add a join drill camp button, and it'll put them in. See, I think the devs should have like one of their. So, know how the devs have like a bunch of the War Rights official servers? I think they should have like a dedicated drill camp server, and they should have a join drill camp button. I think that would be useful.
That would become the most populated server in War Rights. All the regiments would be like, mine.
Yeah.
Also, this new join battle button's for new players, and I think if you have a battle for join battle and join drill camp, I don't know if new people would understand, like, well, what's a drill camp? Or I don't know.
Well,
I will say, I will say, the only reason I learned anything was because of the Fort New Jersey. When I went in the drill camp, I still didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was just I was like, you know, hey, what do I do? And they were nice enough to tell me without insulting me for being a boomer.
Yeah, I was doing like 2 basic drills for 2 new recruits today, and then some random guy joined our drill camp, and then I ended up recruiting him too. So yeah, when you're just chilling in a drill camp, that's when we get like most of our recruits now. Because I hate going into skirmishes and trying to recruit. It's so depressing.
My very first War Rice experience was my friend told me to get the game. We're playing Hell I Lose. And he's like, get this game. It has some really cool events. I'm like, okay, sweet. I got it. And I load in. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the 7th South Carolina, but the guy who kind of runs that's named Gomez. I love Gomez with everything in my heart. He's the nicest guy. But he's older. He's 71 years old. So, you know, that was my very first War of Rice experience, which is, I love it, dude. I love War of Rice, and I still love him, but that's my first one.
My first experience was you guys know the North and South mod or Napoleonic Wars?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the people I was part of were like, back the game and then we'll all play together. I'm like, okay. So I backed the game with my mother's credit card, and I know, right?
What a gangster. It's like, yeah, I stole that.
and we load in, and you know, I'm like doing this, and it's like, oh my god, it's pretty cool. The graphics are so nice and whatnot, and it's like I kept messing up the keybinds and whatnot, and all this other crap. But I got to learn more and more and more. But I was actually part of the original 51st NY, like literally one of the first regiments just people created. It was such a horde of people coming over from, Napoleonic Wars and some other games, and they're like, yeah, this is the new deal.
Someone commented game needs a better tutorial. Like an in-game tutorial, that'd be great.
They need a basic tutorial. Needs to kind of learn, tell people how to reload, put your bayonet on, the different keybinds.
That's a thing. Like it doesn't tell you anywhere saying like, press what is it? I think it's F1. Yeah, F1 for the keybinding map.
They should link you to the Battleline Network War Rights tutorial.
You hit tutorials in the main menu, but
yeah, what does that actually do when you hit tutorial? I've never clicked
that. It goes to a warofrights.com page with like, it has my tutorial on it. It has, I forgot who made the one before it. It was like Knight something. I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up right now. But they just have a bunch of tutorials. They have like the official War of Rights artillery tutorial up there.
So they do have a link to you. Oh well, okay.
Yeah, it's
stand corrected. Trusty Jam, I love you.
No.
What do you like? What do you like about the new fonts in the tab menu?
I love the font.
That's the
Very
first time I've
pleasing
heard
on the
that
eyes.
take. That's the first time I've heard that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like some people have been like, "Oh my god, I can't stand it." I'm like, bro, this looks proper as hell. I feel like I'm actually like watching Civil War font in front of my face. Like I don't know why, but it makes me feel more comfortable. It feels like it's more organized. To me, it makes the game look more fresh. If that makes sense.
It's easy on the eyes. Easy on the eyes to read. It's not a hodgepodge of weird font and text in the bottom left anymore.
There was a minor adjustment period of me like, because I'm semi blind at this point, so I had to actually start wearing my glasses so I could see the fonts and the text and the tab menu. So War of Rights is forcing me to wear my gamer glasses.
See, I'm blind all the time, so I have to wear my glasses constantly.
Personally, I do kind of like it. I like how it's like more spaced out and a little bit thinner, so it doesn't just look like this blue blob on the bottom left with just a bunch of random letters just going through it. So I think it's actually pretty nice.
Well, unpopular opinion, the font was my favorite part of the update. So
The
Best
cannons,
update
the
in the game.
glitches they got rid of. I think the cannons that they fixed, like when you're turning the cannon, you're aiming down the aim skew. Your head doesn't just get snapped back to the head, to the back.
When so you can now move the trail strike when you're rolling the cannon back and forth. That looks janky.
Yeah.
That looks jank.
they did not fix the officer. If you spam V, you look like a robot. Which I thought they would fix, which is crazy. They haven't fixed it yet. It's my favorite thing to do.
Huh.
So you go if you span V as an officer with your sword out, you look like a 2D animation.
Oh yeah.
They need to fix the whole when you get stabbed as an officer, you have to reload your pistol again because that drives me up.
Oh my, that actually is a thing. I've been losing my
very
mind,
annoying.
bro. Okay, so
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing, and it's been happening to me quite frankly, like a lot. And I'm like damn near threw my computer out the window the other day because I got stabbed, and I was like, I clicked R. What happened?
I now end up shooting. If I've got a mat, I'll shoot my first like 6 shots when they're like 30, 40 yards away because I know I'm only gonna get like 3 when they get close, and the minute I get stabbed once, I'm just done. There's just no way, unless you have to like quick shoot where you like aim and shoot at the same time, and that's the only way you could pretty much kill them because you just can't aim and shoot anymore because the minute they stab you, you're just done for. It's the anti-officer bias and War of Rights. Devs get on that, please.
I've been on the receiving side of that. It's not fun.
It's not.
And it feels so cheap too because you're just holding out as an officer, then you get stabbed once, and then you click it, and then nothing happens. You're like, oh, okay, I'm just dead now.
Or you're just sitting there just spamming fucking R. It's like, come on.
And the buck and ball glitch. Y'all still get the buck and ball glitch? You have to reload
Always.
twice.
I struggled for like 20 minutes with that the other day. It's where you load buck and ball and it kind of doesn't work, and you have to reload again. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and that's been going on now for a minute, like that's a while. It's not
the buck and ball double fire where you can shoot off. Then all you have to do is put your cap back on and you shoot another shot.
Yeah,
happens to me almost every single time I play with buck and ball.
There's some people that purposely do it. And,
I'm sure there is.
Like they purposely so they could blow off 2 rounds in less than like 10 seconds.
Do you think the devs have like a long list of like problems that they just like pick and choose and they just try and solve a couple for every update?
They gotta.
I call them features personally.
In all fairness, they've in the last like I don't know month or whatever since what was the last major update that they released before this one?
It was
the veterancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. So they've released quite a few things within like then and now, like little updates here and there, which has been okay. And the 30-day grace period's over now, isn't it? So the ranks are now set in stone unless you turn it off. Which my game was lagging the other day. I was like joining the public server and it would set me to level 1 again, and I was like, this is horrendous.
Kayla, you're just bad.
I really am, yeah. I respect my level 84 rank, and it was taken away from me.
This is why Togray is better than you as a level 100.
That's
so
true.
And Cajun.
Do you know what I say of that, Shade? Do you know what I say of that?
What? You drinking your tea?
I just clipped my teeth.
Okay.
That's what I say to that.
Um,
ASMR on podcast.
let's see. So not that's a. I mean, they added the preview image of the battle flag you're gonna spawn in as. That's kind of cool.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do it earlier.
That that's just a little quality of life change. That's all I see that as.
Yeah.
Look, didn't they have like that whole like what was that little image that wasn't an image, but there was meant to be an image there, but it's like it's just like a little
It's a stat.
Oh, it was like UI dot
yeah
whatever.
the UI that little it's been there since like the longest time. Anytime you click flag bearer, there wasn't an image for it. They should have just put a random flag there anyway. Just Bradley should have been on that. I'm disappointed in
A
him.
random flag to cover it up. So I think the biggest thing that came out of this update though was the overtime mechanic being changed. Do you all understand
Oh.
what changed with that? Or might as
No.
well just
Yes.
explain it.
I
anyway.
have a little
Oh.
piece for that.
It was
Alright.
beautiful.
So essentially, before the update, in order to fully retake the point in an overtime, is you would if the enemy team has the point capped, you have to decap it, recap it, and then have the middle timer like go to full. Now I think it's just that middle timer after this update, right?
Well, that's how it used to be, and then it changed, and then they put it back to how it was meant to be. If that
Which-
makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it used to just be that big circle that would just fill up, and then every time an enemy player would jump on point, it would reset again.
Huh.
But like, I hate overtime. Overtime mechanic in this game is oh, it's wet.
Yeah,
It's some real wet stuff.
it's disgusting. I mean, when they when it was back then, before they changed it, well, before they reverted it, actually, it was such a gamble, if you're going to even get overtime or not.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like there's certain mechanics in this game that like they're not meant to be used like all of the time, like overtime, for example. Like that's meant to be like when there's a big brawl over point and the timer hits 0, but regiments use it as a pretty much like a strategic thing of like, oh, we'll just get an overtime and then it's a win. You know what I mean?
You guys
I
think we're
don't
ever
feel
gonna
like-
get past 1862? I know, off topic.
Oh God, no,
Wait, what was the
no.
question?
Do you think we'll ever get past 1862?
What do you mean get
No.
past? Like stop using
No,
it?
The development in the game, I don't think so.
Developed in
No.
the game.
no.
Unless they
like,
make War Rights Part 2, but
Guys, the second Civil War.
Oh yeah.
War of Rights Part 2, yeah.
Yeah.
They start crowdfunding for War of Rights 2, and they haven't even finished War of Rights 1 yet. It
Oh,
wouldn't surprise me. Do you know they got just under $1 million in crowdfunding? That's mad.
That is a lot of money, yeah.
How
Yeah.
long do you reckon it took for them to go through all that, or do you think they're still just chipping away at that?
They got to be making some kind of money somewhere, bro.
Well,
I mean,
you
there's-
imagine-
I
People
think
are
they
still
have.
buying the game.
Let's talk
I
about
think they
cheap portal
probably
servers.
have like a pool of money that they have. They kind of like draw from, and they kind of just keep adding it up, like adding it as sales go on, because that's the high time of this game, is when the sales are happening. So I think they're probably just have a big pot. They kind of put it all in and take out and put in as a need for wages and such.
Part
Yeah, I
2,
wonder
the
how
electric
much-
Boogaloo.
Yeah, I wonder how much the devs do get paid. At least enough to survive and continue making the game.
isn't it just
Absolutely.
like a garage band in Denmark?
It's 3 guys in Denmark and Bradley, who's in Alabama, right?
I think they've got a couple extra ones now. I don't think they're official devs, but they're like what are those new guys that have been like chilling around in the community Discord and stuff a bit? Like that guy that has the weird funny name. I can't remember his name. But like it begins with like an I or something. I can't remember. Because you got like Fancy, Sweet Roll,
No.
Trusty, and then Bradley, and then like there's some of those random guys that they're like the newer devs of like the last like year and a half, 2 years.
I think the one you're talking about has like a coding joke in his name, or like some type
No.
of coding
Yeah.
thing. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think that's the dude who's working on the horses and stuff.
Yeah, he like around like Halloween and stuff, he joined our EU Halloween event and started like changing a bunch of stuff in the server, made it all cool and stuff. It was real nice. It was real sweet. He just did it because he was bored.
I wish they would do that more often. But going back to overtime, any more comments on the overtime thing? I think it definitely makes some interesting situations. Probably boring for the most part. Because
When it's not,
what was that?
I think you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just couldn't hear what Killer said there.
when it's not abused, yeah, it can be fun and interesting.
I think it's a kind of a goofy mechanic if you do it. I think, if you're going to lose the match, you're going to lose the match. You know what I mean? I've never seen it in any events I've ever played, but I've seen it on your guys' videos, which it definitely does seem very interesting to do it.
Just normal Friday and Sunday, NA.
Because at least
Friday
at
Friday night
BLM
fight.
Wednesdays, the overtime mechanic is becoming the norm the past 2 weeks.
I
It's-
hate, yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
It's like it's
it's
mainly an NA thing now, though. Like every NA event, there's always a thing of all right, let's fall back and we'll try and get overtime, and just try and abuse the overtime mechanic over and over and over. It just gets old and boring. Like half of these NA Friday and Sunday events, I leave thinking like I've just wasted like an hour and a half of my time because we might have got a win, but it was just so boring. And I just hate it. It's terrible.
yeah.
Seems to me it's kind of a sore loser type of thing.
Exactly.
I'm a flanker, so I have no time to be sitting back in spawn. I am getting tickets. You can ask these guys. I will crash my whole regiment into a side of another regiment.
Yeah, it's just I can't sit there and just watch this game just keep dragging and dragging and dragging.
Exactly. Winning is not more important than and I'm going to sound like a boomer here. It's going to be very cliche and corny. But winning is not more important than our guys having fun, and that's kind of the way our regiment runs. Is if we have fun, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Ultimately, we
I
have
agree.
fun. And that's the reality of it. We have War Brothers event. It's a lot of fun. It's a campaign. Union got their ass kicked, unfortunately. This
Yeah,
last
we
time.
did.
But we're all fair sports. We don't take anything personally. We all want to win, and I think that's what's really good about some of these, North American units is we have found a community that we build off of and that we play well. We get along with the Confederate units. We get along with, other units in the thing. There's a beautiful side to that when it works out well. And like I said, the overtime thing, that never happens. Thank God for us. That would annoy the shit out of me. Excuse my French. But I will say, like, I won't lie if I wouldn't tell you, early capping. I use the early cap. I'm an early capper king. Some people think that's really cheese because you get to see when the team's taken, about to go breaking. But there are things that you can definitely exploit, and at the end of the day, I think some people don't realize that this war actually ended a while back, and they take it real seriously, and they'll do whatever means possible to get a high five, because there is no award for winning. Don't win cash, unless y'all win cash. And if y'all win cash, let me know. I'm there.
Eagle gets paid.
we got
Yeah,
BLN Wednesday. We'll get a cash prize, but like
Hey.
BLN Wednesdays incentivize winning games because ours is kind of like an NFL style season. There's a regular season. You get points for winning games, and then the best teams go to the playoffs. So
that's different. And like I said,
Yeah.
that's different. That's something that's been organized. And, it's a little bit outside our style, but I can respect the fact that I think the overall thing is as long as this community grows, it's good for every regiment here. It doesn't matter what kind of events we're doing, campaign events, battle and network. I think that needs to be the priority, and it's even why I wanted to come on here. Because I do see in the comments there's a lot of oh, this is bias, and I said I got invited on. I asked if I could talk, and I got invited on, and that was pretty good. And being here representing my regiment is an honor, and hopefully, I know my guys right now are watching it, so shout out to those guys. But I think this it's just going to be good. It's going to be good for the growth of the community, just even having these kind of conversations.
I will say I'm glad you guys came on. Glad to have you guys on again. If anyone watching this wants to come on, it's open forum. Just message me on Discord. Join the Battleline Discord. Message me there. We'll be glad to have you. Because the more people we can have on, the better. It's great.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's really anything else much with the update. I mean, there's more Steam achievements.
Oh
Yay.
god.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
No, I don't think anyone gives a shit about
Oh,
Steam
is it
achievements.
like Xbox? Do they start giving you money yet for it?
Oh, imagine.
Oh, and then who cares? Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I don't understand why it's like win one games the CSA, because literally we were mustering up for an event on Friday, and then I ended the round to switch it to the right map, and I hit CSA victory, and I was on the CSA and I got the achievement, and I'm like, that's how easy it was. I didn't even play a full round. I didn't even spawn in during muster. I just hit CSA victory and ended the round, and I got the achievement.
We all know CSA players needs a participation trophy.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you
You could
kidding?
at
I
least-
never lose.
It could at least make it like 10 victories. You know what I mean? Like it's so like small. Like you could do all of the achievements and like apart from like the play 100 matches of skirmish in them, all them ones.
And the Christmas one.
Yeah, I for some reason I didn't get that one. I'm annoyed. It's
The
probably.
once a year
I think
achievement.
that those achievements for winning one game, this update and the veterancy update, that's entirely just for the new player. They'll be like, "Oh, I
Yep.
got a cool Steve achievement, yay!" But I think adding like win 10 games is this side. I think that would be a good future achievement to add if they did add more.
Yeah, I think that recently I don't know, like it seems like they're doing a big push to try and like keep new players playing the game and like enticing them to keep coming back and playing more, which like with the levels and stuff. I feel like it's like their new little thing is they're trying to grow the public community as well as, like the public matches and stuff.
So, just a question for the whole room. But what do you guys think is the sole or main factor reason of why people keep coming back to war rights?
Regiments.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I mean, I'm lucky enough, and I know most of us come here from pretty cool regiments. We have a core group of guys that is as weird as this sounds. These guys are sometimes nicer than the people I know in real life. In a weird way, you play this game as a bond, but you become friends with these people in a friendly way. You're like, dang, these people are pretty cool. And then, let's talk about G Portal. That is an expensive bill to run a 300-man server.
Oh yeah, it is.
And the fact is for what's beautiful about our regiment, I'm sure other regiments, is it's not one person paying $300. It's our little community that chips in to make those servers happen. And I think, like I said, you can't find that in a lot of places in today's world. Just being honest, everything's so crazy today. And so, yeah, to, get these players to come back. And I think when they join regiments, it's for some people, it's not. Some people will join 7 regiments before they find the right regiment. But at the end of the day, I really think that's the main player base. I think a lot of the recruits they get tired of pubbing. Normally, is what happens.
But
They like.
I wonder though, Hell Let Loose, very similar type of game, just in a different time set. How can they continually pull a lot of people to play the game, public wise, not event wise, but War of Rights can't? That's the big thing.
It's a bigger game.
Yeah.
I mean, bearing in mind, World War II is a lot more wider known and more like,
But War of
in
Rights, a lot of people have bought this game, and I mean, you had over 9,000 people back this game all the way back then, and a lot of people have purchased the game since then. So why is War of Rights having the issue?
I would say it's real. It's one of these things where if you look at how many people bought the game are Civil War nerds or this type of history nerds. And I mean, that's the reality. We can all probably say, hey, we like this kind of combat. We like the history, like learning about it. And that's the reality of it. You get a certain type of breed on this game that you don't get elsewhere. A lot of people.
It's very true.
A lot of people do not wake, and I've realized this. I'm sure y'all have realized this, especially you European guys. I love that you know so much about our war. It's amazing. But you literally, you play the game because oh man, I wonder how it was like back then. I wonder how this happened, and it's like the closest thing you're going to get, other than marching in the fields, actually in Gettysburg and doing reenactment. got 3 kids. I ain't got time for that.
I'm an online reenactor.
Yeah, there you go. And so,
I-
like, you get an opportunity to do that, and I think that brings a certain crowd of people. But I mean, let's face it. There's the Confederates is not knocking them, but unfortunately, there are also people that come in just to support stuff like that. I mean, you know, I'm from Texas. There's a reason why I joined a union job. I didn't want to get fired from our union regiment. I didn't want to get fired from my real life job playing this game because it was so the cursing. I actually like that they block that out.
Yeah.
At least
I
it's
actually
not.
There
I
is a
do.
language filter, yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually don't mind it, and the reason being is, like I said, I'm older, so I think like, oh my god, what if my kid was playing this game? You know what happened to you guys as you get older? Um, but you look at it and you're like, man, like God, can what if my 16-year-old was playing this game? And I walked in and saw all that shit. Like, what I'm saying, it would trip me out. So I actually like that they did that because I won't lie, when I first bought this game, I joined a pub server and I was like, this game will get me fired from my job. Like
Yeah.
I will be homeless.
I've
Because
been playing since I was 15. I haven't really ever had that big of problems besides pub lobbies. Yeah, like
Yeah.
actual like events usually aren't that bad.
no, events
Admins try to
have,
filter
yeah,
it.
events have always been very much so regulated, which is why I was attracted to the regiment side more than the pub side, because I'm like, I want to have fun, but I also don't want to get fired from my job because someone heard something.
I honestly I don't think I mean I've told a lot of people I know in real life about that I play this game, obviously because I have a YouTube channel, so I gotta go spend some time on that and explain that. But people, for the most part, at college received it pretty well, especially for it being a college atmosphere. I also think that like there's when people play this game and post compilations on YouTube, like Drew the Dude, for example, it's all the clickbaity, trying to get people's attention with like racism and that crap. I think that really shines a negative light on the game, really bad.
For sure.
'Cause-
He does like to race.
Absolutely,
He does
absolutely.
race bait.
Yeah, I
My-
think it's very funny, but at the same time, when you have so many people doing that, it's going to paint an image on the game, and
Exactly.
it's-
I mean, this game would be canceled if it was made in America already. I mean,
I've
let's just
I've
let's
had
just
so many,
call
like,
it what it is.
over the 3 years that I've had my regiment. I can't even count on 2 hands the amount of new recruits I've gotten. That the first real question they ask me is, "Are we allowed to say the M word?" And it's just because it's a Civil War game, it somehow immediately people think that you know
Like it's like we're back fighting in 1862.
yes, pretty much. And it's well, no, it's a real life game. I have black members in my regiment. I have Hispanic members. I have loads of different. We all do. And it's that you can't just then turn into some big racist Civil War regiment because you play for a CSA regiment. And it's yeah, it's one of the weird things. But
Yeah, no, I agree. That I speak on behalf of me being a a Southerner. I'm from Texas. I would love to be. We're like a cult of people. You don't know a Tex. One of our captains says you'll know a Texan within the first 10 minutes because they'll tell you. And we're a cult, so I would love to be in a Texas regiment. I'd love to do that, but when I joined the game, like I said, it was a bad experience, and I was like, man, I love my state pride. I love me. I say in my profile it says I'm Texas first, American second. So yeah, it was unfortunate for me because I did want to be a Texas unit, and I couldn't because of that. And not knocking any of those regiments if they're still around, but that was my first taste of the game, and it really as a new player and a middle, at that time I was in 20s. So at that time I'm a new gamer to the computer. I love Civil War. I jump on, and that was the first thing. I didn't touch the game again for 2 years because of that experience.
I think we all regimental leaders or anyone of any type of, I don't want to say influence because it's kind of a weird word to say, but anyone that's type of community leader, I think all has a responsibility for this game to really change it to what we want it to be. I mean, we want to stay away from the negative and toxic people who just drive new players away. Because I firmly believe if no regiments were in this game, it would be dead. It would have been dead fucking last week. And we all have sort of a responsibility, especially on pubs, because that's the experience people first get into. They load in, they're in spawn, everything's going off, and you have some dude playing some stupid sound pad or screaming the N-word and F-word this, N-word that, But I think for sure it's kind of a responsibility of all of us to really try to get this community to a more positive light, more of a mainstay game, other than be, cast into the shadows of stupid racist game, say N-word. You know what I mean?
However, you'd think
yeah, you go, Killer.
Like, now that the public servers are on private servers, like, say when they're on the War of Rights official servers, if the devs aren't online, there's no administration whatsoever. And like events, if people are being racist and stuff, they get dealt with pretty much on the spot immediately, and racism is tried to, all that type of stuff is kept out of events as much as possible. And you'd think that now that the public servers are always on those like pub officer discords and stuff, but those guys allow it just as much as like an unadministrated War of Rights official server. And I feel like if they didn't allow it, it would definitely help the game a lot more. But the fact that they do allow it on those public servers,
I've seen some servers, specifically Peace in Ukraine, and I think I've seen it's kind of a what's the word for it? But kind of a loose admin structure where the owners say, "This is what I want. Get rid of troublemakers and etc." I've seen some servers like kick and ban people who are blatantly being racist and all that type of stuff, which is good to see. But I do agree with you. There is a lot of instances where people just have N-word killer in their name and they're running around spamming in chat and no one does anything about it. It's just acceptable, which is just kind of gross.
I feel like what's it called? Campfire can do a better job of like stopping that in chat altogether, because they can.
I'm sure they could.
I feel
I'm
like
telling you right now, if EA made this game, it would be canceled immediately. Like, it would never, it would be gone.
Like, I feel like if there was less of that stuff in public matches, more regimental people would play public matches, and more public players would continue to play public matches.
Absolutely, you nailed it in the head. It's like the number one reason why is, like I said, we don't really recruit on pubs. We're a lucky regiment. The recruits come to us. Don't ask why. We've got good coffee or something. But yeah, when I go in and recruit for pubs, I usually end up walking out with a headache, and it's like dealing with my 7-year-old all over.
Sauce is dropping sauce in the chat right now.
He really is.
Yes.
I will say, if anyone, we're kind of wrapping up to the end here, so if anyone in the audience or watching the stream has any questions to ask anyone on the panel, please start putting those in, because then we'll get to those. But
I'm allowed to shout my unit out, right?
yeah, we'll do that at the end. We'll also we'll put a link here. Yeah, you can advertise whatever, not whatever you want, but whatever you want.
Yeah.
Can I drop my OnlyFans link by chance?
Yes.
That's a great question, Shay. Why does Killer smell so bad?
Honestly, it's a mix of people constantly coming into my tent wanting promotions, and and just lack of care. Yeah, it's a mix of those. Sorry.
But I guess last thing before we see if any more questions come in. Overall thoughts on this update as a whole? Like it, don't, is it meh? Anyone got anything to say with that?
I mean, I guess it's cool for artillery, some of the things they got now, but it's like, me as an infantry officer and infantry leader, it's like, cool. I mean, whatever. I mean, cannons can just move a little bit more freely now.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'll just kind of quickly read through the artillery changes because we never really kind of talked about it. So when you move the cannon forward and backwards, you can now move the trail spike. Apparently they fixed the elevation screw seat camera because it was glitching. I don't play artillery, so I don't know a lot about these issues, but looks like elevation screw had a lot of fixes. You can look around, free look by holding down Alt like you do normally in the game when you're sponging/ramming or inserting rods. The one weird thing is that when you carry artillery shells in quick time or double quick, you like see it in front of your face. I find that so weird.
Yeah, it's like you're holding it at chin level. I'm sure that thing's a good 10, 15, 20 pounds. You're not doing that shit. You're holding
I-
it, down low.
They hold it out pretty. They hold it pretty far away from their chest too. They pretty much just have nice straight arms. So they're about to start doing some squats with some artillery shells. It's beautiful.
I and
I'm not
then
gonna lie, guys. The font is absolutely the sexiest thing about that update, as I've said before.
I think the font's mid. I don't know. I never really cared. I don't really look at the font. I don't know.
I like Steven. I like Steven's comment.
Steven's comment.
Yeah, I like
Pubs
Steven's
are
comment.
public. I had a lot of
Take your
fun
question.
there before finding a regiment. And yeah, I'd say that's true.
Pretty much the
Make
majority.
it a
of people.
question though.
Well,
But,
that's not a question, but like
Yeah, that's a statement. But
A
I
lot
get
of
what
No,
you're
you
saying.
No,
got a
but it's
question
a
from
good.
Battle
I
Buds.
think it's a good statement. I mean, I didn't. The time I was maybe playing the game for less than a week before I got put in a reg, and then the only time I went in public matches was to recruit for the regiment.
So is it? I mean, well, this is a, I am curious, because what's is there an issue with recruiting? And I'm outside figure. Y'all feel like recruiting like that is a bad thing, like going into a server and recruiting these people like this.
I don't like recruiting at spawn. I think that's just annoying.
I agree with that.
And it's like I just think like when people first spawn in, like and they immediately just someone runs up to them and is like just starts chatting them up. It's like it's like the equivalent of a girl sat at a bar and a man just comes and sit next to her and be like, "Hey, do you want a drink?" It's just weird, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like if you find them on the field, you chat them, you see them do something good, whatever, bang, you big them up. But like, it's kind of just like a waste of being in that pub server. If I'm being honest, it's just like if your team's losing and then there's like 3 or 4 guys at spawn just chilling, trying to talk to people. It's just like just go join a drill camp and sit in there and wait for people to join.
I have a differing opinion. I mean, I do understand you guys do make a valid point, losing the game, but do you really think 3 or 4 people is going to change the tide of battle, especially on maps that are like South Mountain, where they're incredibly CSA sided and biased already? Well, what is 3 guys going to do? And I also think when you spawn recruiting, there's a sort of a classy way to do it. If you just run up to people and go, "Hey, join a regiment," but you got to talk to the people, be their friend, talk about other games, stuff like that, and really try to make them and invite them into the wider community. Is kind of how I see that, because I don't think the community aspect for the pubs is a particularly positive place. So that's how I kind of see spawn recruiting. I think it's good, but if you're just running up to people, especially team killing, definitely don't be team killing at spawn or anything like that. That's very negative. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what Scrapper thinks about that.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, Scrapper's
Throwing
zero.
you under the bus there. dude.
Hold on a minute. Where's Zoo? No, but in all honesty, like the way that I look at it, I personally, I really don't do a lot of recruiting for my regiment, and I'll be the first to admit that, because I juggle a
I'm
job.
an officer. I have better things to do.
Yeah, no, but I juggle a job and college, and then this. So like it's weird, but like I feel like I can understand why people do it, but at the same time, like when you get that new regiment on the block, how are they going to recruit if they can't afford like a server or anything like that? And I did.
I agree with that.
I
But
think
like,
I agree.
but when it comes to like the recruitment posts and stuff like that, everybody just skims through it. Like, let's be honest.
I didn't know that actually I had no idea. I had to look that up, and someone said that today. Look at the
Yeah.
recruitment posts. I was like, what? They do that?
Yeah, the
I think,
recruitment
though,
posts are not good.
It can also just be annoying to the actual public players themselves. Like, how many times have you went up and the minute you say "yo" blah blah blah, and they just immediately turn around and be like, "I'm not joining your regiment, so don't ask," because like regimental players are in there 24/7 every single day, and they ask every person without tags if they want to join a regiment. And I feel like that can also be a factor that might drive certain people who just want to play the game and experience it away too.
No, I agree with that. I think them building their pubs is very important for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a weird way. Like we need that to happen. Because like I said, I do sales in real life, and so what he's saying is 100% right. If everyone's knocking the same territory, we're all going to get the cops called on us.
Yeah, it's
And
like trying to sell jogs on the same corner. It's not gonna happen.
But I will say, on that, a hungry salesman eats. You know what I'm saying? There are, and 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 what I love about us, we don't have to. Except we're lucky we have the servers, so people come to us. We're spoiled. I tell my NCOs all the time, we are spoiled rotten with how we get our recruits. But I don't, in my personal opinion, it doesn't affect me none. I can understand it being annoying for the pub player, but it's if the person is being persistent enough to like, hey, join the regiment, hey, join the regiment, and I'm like, yo, dude, leave me alone, and he keeps doing it, then at that point I'm like, yo, that's a problem because that's just you being honestly a me. And then if you're asking, hey man, are you new to the game? Yeah, man, I'm in Fort New Jersey. Yeah, we teach new players how to play the game. You want to run with me? You want to rock with me? You want to see how we do? And then you're pitching them kind of there at the start. Hey, you're probably wondering why I have tags. Now, like I said, I'm a salesman, so the way I word things is completely different than most people. And the fact is I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that's okay. I think as long as it's respectful. I think how any, I don't think how any unit does things is necessarily wrong. It may not be something that we like. Like I know, I wouldn't do that personally. I'm not that kind of person in sales in real life. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to knock someone for doing that kind of hustle. Because at the end of the day, I'm sure they get recruits from it. Whether it's annoying or not. And that was something that I wanted to, I know we didn't talk about it, but it was kind of one of the unbuttoned topics. And I felt like, it should have been talked about because this is what will make the community better. Understanding both perspectives, seeing both sides of the stories, making each unit better. And so I think that's why I wanted to bring that up and say, like, listen, I think both sides are right. I think both sides have knowledge. And I think if you're being respectful about it, there's no problem doing it. But if you are being that troll that's annoying somebody, team killing people, then yeah, you should probably just go play another game. I heard Battle Cry of Freedom is recruiting.
Yeah, you gotta be classy about it. You can't be, you're repping your regiment. Type of community do you want to be, and that's how you should act accordingly. If someone says no, then remember the name and don't talk to them next time they spawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eagle, did you see that question in chat?
Yeah, I've been putting them on a notepad. I'm just waiting for things, and then we'll kind of transition to it. But yeah, so I guess we can start going through some of these questions. If you have more, please feel free to add on. We got some time left. But the first question is Brigade. Oh my, we're done. I butchered that. Brigade tier / core tier list. I wonder if you mean like historical brigades or like in-game ones, like Second Corps and stuff like that. Because if it was in-game, like community-made War of Rights one, that would be kind of short.
You missed armies on there, man. What the hell? Where's armies?
That would be a very heated discussion.
Yeah, where's ANV? Because we make all of those
put
brigades
ANV on there.
No, I'm talking about in this guy's question.
He didn't put armies. He put
when we first started ANV, a bunch of like regiments got mad because like the majority of the CSA regiments in this community were in ANV like historically, and apparently that meant that like that was a bad thing. I don't understand why, but yeah, they got really triggered by it at the beginning, which is funny.
They think the worst is going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's like they thought I was gonna like declare ownership of their regiments.
I am Supreme God Senate Commander.
Yeah. I still can if you guys want me to. Just give me a message on Discord. I'll take your regiment over for you. I'm a businessman, so.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah.
Aren't all brigades like that though?
Hostile takeovers and all that,
No, not every brigade. OB's not like that. Calm
down. We did a Battle Buddies. We did a regimental tier list. I think that was one of the second podcast we did where we went through every single one, and that got heated. That's probably one of the top 10 viewed videos on my video. And here's the thing. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
If you do that, it would. If you would approach that subject, I think it would be very heated discussion if it's just a few people. But if you invite a lot of regiments and heads and stuff like that, I think it could be a good discussion if everybody can agree to keep it civil. You know what I mean?
Oh, that would never be said.
I completely disagree, bro. Yeah. I'm sorry. This game is full of a ton of people who act like children. It is.
Oh, yeah, you're
the
right.
moment you
Yeah.
say anything about somebody, they will cry about it.
Yeah, the war
Yep.
rights egos are fucking sky high.
For some reason.
Yeah, I get in trouble for keeping it too real sometimes, honestly.
We've all heard you in debrief, fatty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get too real, and my leash got to get pulled a little bit.
But if you do go to that video, the tier list video, just go down in the comments. Like literally, the dislike like ratio is like 50-50. It's dead even. There's like people write paragraphs responding to the video, and here's the thing, right? We could make a objective list to rank every single regiment on there, and that would take hours going through every single regiment in the dang game.
And it would still not be perfect.
Exactly,
There's
because
too many aspects of the game.
yeah,
Too many
exactly.
aspects.
There's 3 or 4 people grading this. You're going to be like, well, you didn't look at this. You didn't look at that. Well, it's just 3 or 4 people. We're giving our opinions. It's meant to be fun. That's what it was. So,
How about every regiment
I'm
starts
glad your regiment was
collecting
E tier.
a win loss? Every regiment should start collecting a win loss record and send Eagle the details, and then we'll rate them
re-rank
based on their win loss record. How about that? Yeah, that's factually correct at that point. You can't even complain.
It's gonna
Even
be
better, you have one person come and plead to you why they're the best regiment, and then you make your decision based
Yeah.
off that person.
Exactly, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah. How about we'll do a podcast where we just invite people in throughout the live stream, and they can plead why their regiment should be a higher tier.
I'd love to do that. That'd be amazing.
we
We'll
were
be like judges in like a talent show. Be like, why do you think
America's
you
got
should
War Rights Got Talent. We like do it
War Rights
talent.
Oh,
Oh no.
We've thought about doing a tier list of the comments from that tier list video because some of them are very good.
Oh, that
You
would be
should.
amazing.
That's very good. You should.
We'll maybe do that next week. But next question. These questions are open for everyone. How do you feel about requirements to show up to events and regiments?
I don't
Very,
see it
very bad
often.
idea.
Yeah, I
did-
never
well-
see it because it doesn't get people to play the game. They don't want to play if they have forced amounts of time that they need to show up for.
Unpopular opinion: 4th New Jersey does it, and it works. And we've been alive for 5
What's
years.
the requirement?
Yeah.
One event, one drill a week to be active duty. Now, if you're not active duty, so active duty is someone who can make those things. If you're not active, you go to volunteer. At volunteer is pretty much a rifle by hire. It's not really a rifle by hire, but say these guys want to come in and just shoot. That's what they do, but they still get
A
trained
militia.
to our. Yeah, they get trained to our standards. It's still the same.
So
I,
it's essentially just you can't get higher ranks in the regiment.
You are wanting to play the game on a regimental level, and you like playing with us, and you have no interest in the Milsim aspect of it.
We have like requirements to quote unquote rank up, but they're not something that like to get from private to PFC, you need to attend 25 events. That's not within a certain amount of time. That's just over a span of like 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many months you want to do it. Because our minimum is 2 events a month. Like that's our minimum. But like if people don't attend 2 events a month, they don't just get kicked or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we don't really kick people. We just kind of like eventually we'll just drop them down to being a reservist or something, and then that's it. But
Yeah, that never
Yeah.
makes sense. People. So I'm from IVB, and we have like a crap ton of people, like 700-800
Yeah.
people, or maybe 1,000 at this point. I don't know. But there's a lot of people who are inactive, and some people are like, "Oh, we should kick them from the server." Why would you? They're just sitting there. They might come back one day if you message them enough, but there's no reason to kick people.
I
That's
kick
always
people
been a big thing in
sometimes.
our server. We never kick anyone because randomly when it happens, they might show up again one day.
For OB, I'm going to talk on 4th Kentucky only because I'm not sure about the other OB regiments. But how we kind of see that is we tell them, hey, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sundays are events. Nothing is required. But if you are going to go on like a longer leave of absence, you got work, you got school, grandma died, whatever, just pop it in our LOA chat. And we just try to keep at least I try to, is keep a very good line of communication with anyone who comes in. If you recruit them, we kind of have like a whole script we go through to kind of get them up to date for the regiment and all that. So I think keeping the relationship between the people in the regiment is probably the most important, because if the people like you, they see you as a person they can be friends with, not just a person who's fucking leading them around in a game and telling them what to do and yelling at them. And I think that's the real best way, in my opinion, that I've seen to kind of to approach that situation. Because if you kick anybody, that guarantees they will not be back. So we don't kick people.
I
We
sometimes
try to get some dialogue. We try to get some dialogue with them.
I will want to notate that, because I do have the requirements. I know Fort does, and we don't kick anybody. So if you don't meet the requirements, it's not like you're booted out of the Discord. You go to militia. That's all it means.
the only people I ever kick are like those recruits that join, they enlist, and then you never see them. And then after like 2 months, I'll scroll through my Discord, and then I'll just go for like a real OCD rage, and I'll just start just ban hammering people for no reason.
We have message lists. Sorry,
It really helps.
We have message lists where we kind of rotate the message list. If we haven't seen someone in a while and we see them in the Discord, we'll put them on the message list for the next event. So we'll toss them down, be like, "Hey, we got an event tonight. Love to see you out." Stuff like that.
I mean, this sounds weird, but the way we view it with us is, how in the like Hearts of Iron and Europa, you can have a professional army or a volunteer army. We view ourselves more as like a professional army. Like if you're looking to do more milsim aspect of the game, now we're not like yelling at you. We're not like, get on the ground, private. What are you doing? Like we all work for jobs. These are all fank ranks, but we do have a hierarchy. As we've been around for a long time, and so we do have a tradition. Like the way you said, the way that your guys come is to do a time scale. So like our recruits are required to do tasks before they even make it to private. And the reason
to get a private, you need like a basic and a rifle.
Like they need a rifle, exactly, and and so like the reason why we do this and why it's a little bit more strict on our milsim side, which people make fun of us for it. It's totally fine. We're the nerds. We have no problem being the nerds. We get a certain type of player base. Our core players, which like I said, I've got 10 to 15 of them listening right now, and they absolutely, like I said, we're a community in a community. These guys do the stuff. They have fun doing it. And we get those players. Not everyone's for us. We know that, Not everyone wants to come in and have tasks to do on a video game, But for those, I would say even the commanders, you guys do extra stuff for your guys. And so we're very privileged that we have these traditions. And in a weird way, it makes it work for us, It doesn't work for every regiment, but it works for us, weirdly enough. We just get these core people that are always, a little bit more try-hardish. And they, we end up being pretty effective in battle. And our European side's the same way. I love our European guys. Shout out to the Europeans.
Personally, I do go on, like Killer says, I do go on like an OCD rage, and I will just start fucking removing people that haven't showed up in a month.
Yep.
I'm just like that. I don't know why. It's just I'd like to keep my stuff neat and whatnot. But I mean, like, I pull like 20 to 30 guys, depending if it's the weekend or not. And, we have the drill completion tag. You have to get that through volunteer and recruit, and that's how you get promoted to private. But like NCOs and stuff, like, you have, it's, how to put it? It's almost like you are trustworthy, and I've had conversations with you and stuff like that, and I trust you. And I like, as stupid as it sounds, but I just read, what they do, how they are in battle, and how they are with the men around them and all this other stuff. So I mean, like, it's just, I guess I'm just lucky on my activity when it comes to people coming back, but it's just it's very hard to keep people in a regiment. I mean, this goes for everybody, and even a brigade. So I mean, like, people try their absolute hardest, and what I use is actually the events thing for Discord, and that's how I find who's coming and who's not, and that's how we do our balance sheet and all that other stuff.
Same.
We use a bot that has like reaction rolls and everything, which works out really well.
Same.
But the important part is the culture of the regiment. As an officer, you really need especially during events, because it can go downhill very quickly. You get wiped. Somebody's not having a good time because they got team killed 3 times, or they keep dying every time they spawn on flag. So it's really the culture and how the officers treat the situation that keeps people coming back.
Yeah. So let's keep things moving. So these 3 questions are kind of lumped up in the same one. You think there's anything that could be changed to make the game better? Do you think they're going to add like Gettysburg maps or coastal forts? Yeah, I guess those are kind of the three questions left up in the two group
Okay.
things. So I don't think they're going to add Gettysburg or any other maps
No.
outside of the 1862 campaign unless
No.
they're making a map maker, though. And so
Yeah,
players might be able to make those maps through that. But
I
when
think
that'll
I think that's
happen,
why they're doing it.
yeah,
That's why they're
exactly.
making the map maker, is so that people can create like the other historical maps and not the devs have to do it. If that makes sense.
I'll believe it when I see it, just like my horses.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
I think it would be really cool to have the map maker. I think some very, very smart individuals in the wider community that could do a really good job. And I heard from Bradley, I don't know if you guys heard this, but their next map rotation is going to be Shepherdstown. So whenever 2069 or whatever the hell that comes out. But yeah,
I mean,
I think
But-
if they're gonna make any updates to the game, they need
So-
to. If they're making larger servers, they need to. Like recently, they've changed some of the map borders on certain maps. I think they need to keep doing that, making the skirmish maps slightly more and more bigger, and adding more and more like more artillery cannons and stuff to kind of fit with the server size. Because if there's only 4 cannons and it's a 200-player server,
That's fine by me.
like
Less artillery, better.
yeah, fuck artillery.
Amen.
yeah, but I think regimental wise for regimental events, it's like
Man, my
Yeah, just-
artillery officer is cringing right now.
I love artillery. Just
I-
people who are attracted to artillery just pain in my ass all the time.
artillery, no.
I'm sorry, it's just
90
it's
People
I love
will
you,
post.
I love you, Hexamers. I love
People
you.
will post like videos of artillery hitting a great shot, but it's like how many bad shots before we saw that great shot? And
you want to know.
No comment.
No, and like in all honesty, these artillery guys, they sit there with pen and notepad, and they note down every little thing
Oh,
that they
Archer's
can
here.
do. And like they what's it called? Like they'll sit there and they'll calculate like a tree that's in front of them, and then they'll use that whenever they get that map again.
Some people
they,
are real serious about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they literally sit there and do fucking math, and meanwhile I just want to go out there and just kill shit.
yeah, the
It's
only
like a-
only effective
it's like a-
artillery I've ever seen was on Nicodemus Hill for BLN Wednesday event. Every other event I've covered, I have not seen
Well,
effective
Yeah,
artillery.
You need-
Nicodemus
I-
though
I-
is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
a
need
great
to-
map.
You
So
can
to
love
watch-
the event we
uh,
recorded.
Third
Yeah,
US,
that's true.
Third US bailed us out the other day, so I can't knock on them.
Third U.S. horse artillery.
Yeah, they
You need
bailed us
to-
out of a sticky situation with some case rounds. So
Eagle, you gotta watch that Friday NA event that I recorded
Yeah.
last week,
I'll watch
because
it.
it was only like 80 aside, and we had like 13 artillery on Hill's counterattack. So I was very optimistic, but artillery was like hitting. They were like hitting, banging shots on Hill's counterattack. It was kind of mad. Like everywhere the Union went, they were just constantly getting bombarded by artillery. It was just glorious.
Interesting.
Yeah, just give it a watch. Just watch the Hills counterattack map. Just that one map.
Next question, kind of off custom maps. You think custom maps will bring more players in? Probably. I still think the main servers will probably still remain Antietam and such.
I don't think it will
I-
bring new players in.
I mean, when you hear
Pers-
Gettysburg,
I
think
think it
it'll
would be a
bring
boost. Yeah, it would be a boost.
Nah,
I
I
think
think
it'll
it'll
be used for
bring.
the what's it called? The fucking reenactment ones they randomly do every like month.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it'll bring old players back, not new players.
For
in.
sure, I agree with you.
yeah. That's,
Guys who are like, fuck this game. I've played, hundreds of matches and regiments. Some maps are boring. You know what I mean? And they come
Because I
out
don't
with
think-
something new. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get used in public that often. It'll be like more of like
No.
a private event. Like, oh hey, I've got this map. Do we want to play this like reenactment of Little Round Top or something? And we'll do like a Little Round Top thing, something like that. You know what I mean? I
They'll
think that'll
probably-
be something like that. Instead
There'll
of
probably
public.
be some like basic maps like people make that are good and like it'll kind of be like a big
Yeah.
community popular made map. There'll
Tickets
probably be a
charged.
few of those. Yeah, probably be a few of those. But
so,
other than that, I don't think it's going to be spread.
let's see. So, is there a history in War of Rights for regiments to be historically accurate? For EU, there's the UEC. They try to be historically accurate. I don't think they are, kind of. But there's historical rules event as well. They tried to do the more line battle, and then there's GOA. And does what is it? War Brothers, your Sunday?
Yeah,
Yep.
You
we
guys
all
do
play
that
War,
too?
but yeah. So War
Yeah.
Brothers, the rules are sort of historical. They're more just they're more made to have fun. And so some of the big standout rules is no Steam chat. We don't use that. We all use in-game runners. So if you have a message to tell somebody, another regiment, like, hey, I'm pushing right, I need you guys to come left to support me, we got to send the guy over there to go tell him. And if he dies, then he dies. You know what I mean? And also no bayonets until breaking morale state.
That didn't make sense to me when I played that event.
So what that kind of encourages is less melee charges, and you actually shoot at each other, because in real life, you're not just fucking melee charging. You're not going to be doing that all day. That's how you get all your guys killed.
Baby.
I'm just
This ain't a movie. You know, this is, you know, it's. I mean, I'm behind some of the War Brothers creations for season 3 that we're doing, and we just and actually so is Fatty, and Chris has been helping in the background as well. But what we've been doing is we're trying to, like, you know, implement like sieges as well for like for some of like the cities on our map, or our tabletop map, and it's so cool. We actually just did a whole revamp of how the battle works, and we're in a test run right now, and it's absolutely fucking amazing. Shout out to Irish, Kevin, and Trigun and Niall for absolutely making this event such a piece of art. In all honesty, it's
very,
the best.
very fun event. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, I would love to have you guys fucking come watch it sometime, because I think AB and OB, we really give it our all. We're fighting tooth and nail. All the other regiments, 1st Mass, 4th New Jersey, everybody's here to win.
33rd.
33rd, yep, 33rd Virginia. Shout out to them. But yeah, it's just a good time, in my opinion. I think it's one of my favorite events.
I would definitely consider going to that one.
We have a like I said, we have a Corporal Adam in our regiment. He broadcasts and streams it. He's got his own TikTok, YouTube channel, and you know, he's always, I know for sure, to have an extra set of eyes watching it. It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, we're the same way. I mean, we love GOA. We're in UEC, obviously. We're in HRE. We host HRE. We host GOA. We host the War Brothers. So we're very plugged up in the events of the community. We're blessed in that aspect that we have a European side, and I'm, you know, the American that likes the UEC. I'm kind of weird. I'm the American that likes HRE. I don't mind the European rules. They're a little bit Napoleon for me, honestly, but hey, this is the closest first-person shooting game you're gonna get.
When it comes to Europeans, like I've always said this, if they brought out a game that was the spit and double of War of Rights, but it had a Napoleonic reskin, the EU community would pretty much
jump over in a heartbeat.
It would disappear.
I agree in a heartbeat, and that's what I've always said. I always say the reason we got so many Europeans is because it's the only first-person musket game really around that's worth the damn. Yeah. And like I said, you know, in the UEC you'll see that, and I like to say I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but you'll see it's more, in my opinion, Napoleonic styles, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. People like that. I don't mind it. It's a change of pace for me. Whereas I feel like, you know, GOA, maybe and the War Brothers is a more, you know, American style fighting. You know, you know how us Americans are. We're woo, kill them all. And you know, we're the Europeans, and you see it in Europe. They're a lot more tactful. You know, they're a lot more like, no, we're gonna, you know, send your regiment left, and then everyone starts quick stepping to the left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where the Americans are all like, shift, you know, run, triple quick. You know. So yeah. So War Brothers is definitely our favorite event as far as the realism goes.
I think that's all the questions that I've read.
There's one more.
Oh,
so this was just, I think this is back to the, we'll do this question and then we'll wrap it up for the night. This has been a longer podcast, but it's been good. So do you think regiments should get together to create a public server and have all the admins be fully interviewed? For example, we could get NAEU regiments that create this pub server.
No,
I think that's a great idea.
It's a good idea, but
I'm gonna be completely honest. No, because I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these regiments, it's they always put themselves first, and
That's also true.
and you're gonna
who you send the money to? That's the question.
and you think spawn recruiting is bad. Wait till you see if you did something like that, and you'll see at least like 30 first LAB guys in there. but like in all honesty though, like I hate to say it, but like every regiment out here is out to become bigger and become the best. And so there's no way in hell that these regiments are going to work together just to run a pub server.
Good luck, guys.
I agree.
You got a long way to catch us.
Yeah. I think.
I don't think. I personally, I don't know. I think it'd be great if it was something that me and First Mass did, and my close friend regiments. I think it'd be a cluster F if it was everyone in the community. Obviously, there's different personalities. Not everyone's going to get along, and just like you said, who do we send the money to? Who do we trust with that responsibility?
Well, no, it's what G-Pol is for. You just put it on G-Pol, and they can't control the money anyway. So, I guess they could go and buy like a Hell at Loose server if they wanted to, with a bit of the dough on there if they wanted. But
I'm siphoning $30 for my Minecraft server. So you guys.
Yeah, Minecraft.
It's a good question. I think it would be something that would need to be really thoroughly planned out.
Let the pub officers have their fun.
There is a decent amount of ways you could see it to go wrong, and not a lot of ways to see it go right. That's kind of how I see that.
You'd also have to compete with the pub officer Discord. Or
Yeah,
that's very true.
With
them, I remember when the last time my server was populated, like I would have like Rollins or somebody messaging me being like, "Hey, can you get one of your admins online to patrol the server?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" And they take like the pub officers, they take it very seriously. They have like shifts and stuff sometimes where like they'll go in there for like 2 hours and moderate, and then they'll leave and stuff like that.
Maybe if there was self automations where it could detect and kick people who are being troublemakers. But I don't know how that would ever work. I don't know much about coding or anything like that. But
last time I did pubs was with Irish and did a bunch of gangster stuff, and he's absolutely amazing. He's my favorite person to pub with.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you everyone for watching this tonight, especially King of Common for that super chat. That was a first. Appreciate it a lot. So we'll just go through everyone. If you want to give a quick outro, like plug anything that you want, we'll put in the description after this is done live. But we'll go through Killer.
Join the grant campaign. EU. It's the only EU campaign out there. It starts this Saturday. Just message me on Discord and I'll send you the grant campaign Discord link. Register. You can join as a Merc regiment, so you don't have to turn up every week. You can just come and play every now and again, so you can keep doing your other events. Come do that. Yes, please. Thanks. Love that.
We got Shade.
Killer is my dad. That is all.
Thank you. We got Fatty.
Thank you for so much for having us. Said before the jersey, we're Wilson Regiment, a little bit more extreme. So we love our events, we love our guys, and like I said, shout out to my whole regiment. They're the whole reason why I'm doing this.
Chris Moto.
Yeah, like Fatty said, I appreciate you guys having me out on the podcast, and love to be back another time. Maybe some different discussions. Tonight was a lot of fun, and if you guys are ever looking for a regiment, look up 4th Kentucky, Orphans Brigade. Always recruiting, always wanting more guys to join the community and stuff like that. But appreciate you guys having me on.
Scrapper.
Yeah. Want to join the first LAB? But seriously, thank you for having me on, Eagle. I really do appreciate it. This was actually pretty fun, and I hope to do this another time. And second, shout out to AB, my 5th Alabama, 19th Georgia boys. Love all of you. And Archer, you're literally, I don't know, you're short. And yeah, if you have anybody wants to join the first LAB, just find me. And if you want to join GOA or War Brothers, shoot me a message and we will work something out.
So
Eagle, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Eagle?
No, thank you TCD and John for both doing a super chat. Yes, the second U.S. sharpshooters, they won the poll for the best in-game regiment, not community, but in-game. Thank you for that.
Best community too. They're an OB, I have to say.
That is a rigged vote. We didn't know it
It's a
existed.
rigged. Stop the phone.
Very rigged, yeah.
Love
Had we known it existed, we would have come out on top.
Love Trigun. Trigun's
We'll
the
run
best.
it back. That polling thing almost took like 2-3 months, so it finally finished. But the next poll that'll start at midnight tonight is the best War Rights community regiment. So that'll be interesting to see how that comes out.
Oh, boy.
Oh no.
And then yeah, I know. And then John says Archer's Brigade represent. Love to see the community. And yes, based off this, we'll be live streaming this more often. If you join, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Join our Discord. Links in the description. Got all the merch there. Thank you, Tanner, for the 2. Also,
Yeah, come on the show, other regiments.
Yes.
It was a really good time.
And that is
Really
the
good
thing, too. Anyone can come on this podcast. We would love to have you. Join the Battle Line Discord. Message myself as Guardian Eagle saying you're interested. And then from there, we'll add you to the chat. We do this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, every single week. We'll talk different topics. Of course, I need suggestions because it's not like there's a lot of War of Rights content that goes on, but I'm sure with plenty of us, we can talk out. Thank you, Just a Tire and Dalton Johnson as well for the super chats. They're rolling in now.
That's the artillery. Let's go.
Yes. Let's go.
I love how
Let's
you
go.
in the last 5 minutes, people have just been giving you money to pretty much advertise their regiment.
Hey, it's a valid
Hey.
strategy. We gotta
Hey,
put.
it is.
We
It
gotta
is.
put sponsorships
pay-
in the main battle line videos, like pay like
Yeah.
$2 and
Eagle's gonna
promo.
live stream more often now. It's gonna be like, yeah, these donations looking nice.
Yeah, he's loving this.
So,
Well,
it's
we're glad
greatly
to help. We're all glad to help you with your content. Hope it succeeds. And like I said, you can really be a really good tool to help this community grow. So keep doing what you
For
do.
sure.
I appreciate it. There's one other thing. One last thing is that I'm very busy in the fall, so I'm looking for people to broadcast events. If you'd like to broadcast events for BLN, also contact me with that. Have a good night, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.